Hello, I'm Dr. Brant Gibson, and welcome back to the Unhackable Book Club. We're on day number 23, which is Embody Your Mastery. And it's actually pretty good things here. The interesting thing is this very first quote of this chapter says the following. My dad encouraged us to fail. Growing up, he would ask us what we failed at that week. If we didn't have something, he would be disappointed. It changed my mindset at an early age. This is from Sarah Blakely. And the idea is he learned right off the bat, she learned right off the bat, she learned right off the bat that failing wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but a good thing because it allowed you to progress. So I want to talk to you a little bit about this idea of neuroplasticity, the fact that your mind can continue to grow and develop throughout your life. But we'll start with Carrie's videos from November, and then we'll go from there.
Hey folks, it's Carrie Oberbrunner. Welcome to the Unhackable Book Club, day 23. Embody Your Mastery. This is a very cool chapter. Day 23. You have 7 days left. Congratulations for getting this far. I'm super proud of you. This chapter is all about the lie that most of us have been told, that our brain can't change. Our brain is stuck. It's stagnant. Our brain is dying. All that lies. It's not even true. If you look at the latest in brain science, neuroplasticity is 100% true. What's up, Lisa? So what I'm saying, folks, is that the brain there's this quote that says brains that fire together, that wire together, fire together, right? And vice versa. In other words, folks, we can create new neural pathways inside of our brain. And one of the ways we do this negatively is through addictions. Addictions are incredibly powerful. So the point is this: slavery. Addictions create conditions for slavery. And I've been addicted to things before. Come on now, right? Many things can be addicting. Work can be addicting. Helping people can be addicting. Video games can be addicting. Food can be addicting. There's so many things that can be addicting. And we know that when we become addicted to something, it literally reshapes our brain. And you don't need to beat yourself up about that, but here's what else is cool. You can also become conditioned for flow. And maybe the first time you're in flow, it's rare and it's unique and it feels different. In fact, I met someone the other day who we tend to do the Peloton, my friends and I, and he had never ridden very fast, and he had never kind of ridden that long. And he said that after some time, he got into flow, and he had all kinds of creativity and all kinds of new thinking, and it was a novelty for him. But there are physical exercises that can get you into flow, where it's a repetitive activity. And so if you look at this chapter, we're talking all about how to embody your mastery. And we basically have a checklist. We say, what are some things that you're addicted to? And a lot of people don't want to answer that question, right? They just want to skip that. But you have to realize that those addictions are taking up some of your brain power, and they're creating neural pathways that are essentially becoming your go-to, your crutch, your easy fix, your quick fix. And as a result, let's face it, you walk by the cupboard, you crave something fatty or salty or sweet or these types of things. And it's very easy just to get into those addictions. But the problem is that when we do, we're actually preventing flow. And this is one of the reasons why I suggest intermittent fasting. It has to do with all kinds of inputs, the physical inputs, the emotional inputs, the spiritual inputs. You need to look at your entire life and do an inventory. And what I basically talk about is that in question number 6, what new abilities would you like to master? And one of the cool things about flow is that you get into what's called accelerated learning, where, I don't know if you remember this, but in the Matrix, Neo essentially was able to learn Kung Fu, and helicopter, Trinity was able to learn the helicopter pilot because they put this computer program into their minds. Now, of course, that was fiction, but they are finding out that accelerated learning is a very real thing. And so you can shorten the gap to mastery. And when you're in flow, you actually do. You shorten the gap to mastery. So I want to encourage everybody, become unhackable and work in life. Pick up the book, chapter 23. This is a book that, again, there's no chapters, but they're all days. They're daily missions. And what we're finding out with our coaches is that many of them are going through it day after day. In other words, this isn't something that you go through once and you say, cool, I got it. This is something that you can really master. And we're finding people that are shortcutting book writing. They're getting into even house cleaning. They're finding ways to do that. It's fantastic. So be a soul on fire. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow on day 24.
Perfect. So he talked a little bit about neuroplasticity. I want to go a little bit deeper into that. But first, let's talk a little bit about addictions and what that does. So because of neuroplasticity, addictions actually change the way your mind functions. And it gets to the point where you almost need that addiction. That's just why it becomes an addiction. And there's some things you can do to protect yourself from being hacked by these addictions. There's 4 areas where you will actually, or 4 reasons why you will actually give in to addiction or give in to lack of self-control. And the acronym that a friend of mine told me was HALT, H-A-L-T. And it's basically, if you're hungry, if you're angry, if you're lonely or lazy, and if you're tired. All 4 of those will lead you to being weaker and not being able to function like you're supposed to. And because of that, it'll allow addictions or other problems to interfere. The second part of that is the fact is neuroplasticity can be positive or negative. What the studies are now showing is that the brain is constantly changing and modifying and growing and doing based on the activities that are happening. The reason we can create a new habit in a 30-day period is because the brain will create a new wire for that to happen. And what they're finding with the studies, even in Alzheimer's disease and some of these other things, is these habits that are being created through this neural pathway, this neuroplasticity, continue to work even when the mind is not completely working. So what you're doing is you're creating an unhackability that is not 100% completely dependent on you. It becomes more dependent on the functioning of the brain itself. And that's what we're trying to do in this 30 days is give you the tools so that you can become unhackable in your daily life and ultimately use that neuroplasticity to learn new things. So there's 2 assignments for today. One is to figure out exactly what addictions you have. What things are controlling you instead of you controlling them? And the second is what new ability or new activity or new strength would you like to develop so that in the future you can actually truly become superhuman or have that as one of your superpowers. And basically by laying that out and deciding exactly what that is, that gives you something you can start working for. And then you can say, okay, of those activities, what's the one I'm going to work for next? And you start working towards that in this process of becoming unhackable. And you can actually use that neuroplasticity to change that loop in your brain so it becomes a true habit. And because it becomes a habit, you start to do it even when you're not trying. So this is Dr. Brant Gibson, and this is the Be Unhackable Book Club, day number 23. And tomorrow we'll actually do day number 24. If you'd like a copy of this book, you're saying, okay, I'm going through this with you. I've watched all the videos, but I'd love a copy of this book. I purchased one for you. You just have to reach out to me and I will send it to you for just the price of shipping and handling. Thank you. We will talk to you again tomorrow.